नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। आई एम जीवीएन डॉक्टर मीनाक्षी, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ शलाक्य तंत्र, फैकल्टी ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक साइंस, ज्योति विद्यापीठ विमेंस यूनिवर्सिटी। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है डिस्फेजिया। डिस्फेजिया का समझने के लिए इसकी डेफिनेशन समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है। डिस्फेजिया इज डिफाइंड एज डिफिकल्टी swallowing. It may affect any part of the swallowing pathway from the mouth to the stomach. The term odynophagia is used when swallowing causes pain. It is more marked as ulcerative and inflammatory lesions of food passages, that is, oral cavity, oropharynx, and esophagus. First, we should understand the swallow mechanism. The act of swallowing requires the passage for food and drink from the mouth to the stomach. From mouth to hypopharynx covers one-third of passage, while two-thirds is covered by the esophagus. The swallowing center in brainstem is located in the floor of fourth ventricle and adjacent regions of medulla. From here it is connected to cerebral cortex, vomiting and respiratory center. All these areas works in coordinated manner to provide voluntary as well as the involuntary control of swelling. Then comes the swallowing phase. There are two phases under the swallowing phase. First one is the oropharyngeal phase and next is the esophageal phase. The oropharyngeal phase is also called the voluntary phase and esophageal phase is known as the involuntary phase. First, the oropharyngeal phase. Normally, the food must be masticated, lubricated with saliva, converted into a bolus by movements of tongue, and then pushed into the pharynx by elevation of the tongue against the hard palate. For a normal swallow, food should enter the pharynx and then be directed towards the esophageal opening. Here you can see the oropharyngeal phase of swallowing. Then the esophageal phase, the food bolus is propelled through the esophagus by an involuntary wave of contraction mediated by the enteric nervous system. The pressure gradient speeds the movement of food from the hypopharynx into the esophagus when the cricopharyngeal muscle relaxes. The primary peristaltic contraction will be initiated by swallowing, moves down the esophagus at the rate of 2 to 4 centimeter per second and reaches the distal esophagus about 9 seconds. This duration varies from 8 to 20 seconds. Then the classification. Dysphagia has been classified broadly into two types on the basis of site. First, the pre-esophageal or oropharyngeal dysphagia. Second is the esophageal dysphagia. In the pre-esophageal dysphagia, it is due to disturbance in oral or pharyngeal phase of swallowing. The second is the esophageal dysphagia with when disturbance is in esophageal phase of swallowing. First, the oropharyngeal or esophageal dysphagia versus in oropharyngeal dysphagia, there is difficulty in preparing and transporting the food bolus through the oral cavity as well as initiating the swallowing. This may be associated with aspiration or nasopharyngeal regurgitation. In esophageal dysphagia, patients complain of food sticking in their lower throat, neck, retrosternal discomfort or epigastrium. Then the functional grading of dysphagia. There are six grades of dysphagia. In grade 1, the patient complains of dysphagia but still eating normally. In grade 2, the patient requires fluids with meals. In grade 3, the patient is able to take semi-solid but unable to take any solids. In grade 4, patient is able to swallow liquids only. In grade 5, patient is unable to swallow liquid but able to swallow saliva. In grade 6, the patient is unable to swallow saliva also. Then the pre-esophageal causes, the oral causes are disturbance in mastication. Patient may suffer from trismus, fractures of mandible, tumors of upper or lower jaw, disorders of temporomandibular joint. Next cause is a disturbance in lubrication. Patient may have dry mouth following the radiotherapy. Third cause is the disturbance in motility of tongue due to paralysis of tongue, painful ulcers, tumors of tongue, lingual abscess. The fourth cause is the defects of palate. It may be due to cleft palate. Fifth one is the lesions of buccal cavity and floor of mouth due to stomatitis, ulcerative lesions. Next are the pharyngeal causes. These are obstructive lesions of pharynx, Patient may have tumors of tonsils, soft palate, pharynx, base of tongue, supraglottic larynx. Next is the inflammatory conditions like acute tonsillitis, peritonsil abscess, acute epiglottitis, edema larynx. Third one is the spasmodic conditions like tetanus, rabies. Fourth is the paralytic conditions like paralysis of soft palate due to diphtheria causes nasal regurgitation. Then the esophageal causes, the lesions may lie in the lumen wall or outside the wall of esophagus. First one is the lumen. In lumen, patient may have atresia, foreign bodies, strictures, benign or malignant tumors, or Shirsaki ring. Next is the wall. The lesions lie in the wall. Lesion may be acute or chronic. He may have the esophagitis. There may be mobility disorders like hypomotility disorder, for example, eclasia, scleroderma, or the hypermotility disorders, for example, cricopharyngeal spasm, diffuse esophageal spasm. Outside the wall, there are lesions like hypopharyngeal or Zenker's diverticulum, hiatus hernia, cervical esophagus, thyroid lesions, mediastinal lesions, vascular rings or dysphagia lusoria. Here you can see the image of Shetke ring in hiatus hernia. Then you can see the esophageal eclasia. In this image you can see the Zenker's diverticulum. Here you can see the arterial lusoria. Clinical presentation, the patient may have pain and difficulty in swallowing, sensation of food being stuck in throat or chest, coughing or gagging while swallowing, nasal regurgitation, dysarthria, nasal speech because of associated muscle weaknesses, frequent burning sensation in chest, having food or stomach acid back up into the throat, unexpectedly losing weight. Investigations, first one we should go for history taking, then clinical examination, then blood investigations, then radiology, then manometry, then pH studies, then esophagoscopy, bronchoscopy or thyroid scan. Then comes the medical management of dysphagia. If there is tongue scarring, then we should go for surgical release, the positioning of food. If there is cervical esophageal, then surgical removal and diet modification. If there is scar tissue, then removal and posture. If there is T fistula, then surgical closure. If there is diverticulum, then we should go for surgical repair. Here is a chart of the condition, the conservative treatment, and the invasive treatment. Thank you. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please write in the comment box. I will resolve it.